Imagine spending $50,000 on state-of-the-art office security, right? Like
Yeah.
cameras, biometric locks, maybe even a security guard at the front desk.
Right. The whole physical setup.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you realize your lead accountant just emailed an entire unencrypted payroll spreadsheet to their personal iPad just so they could work from the couch.
Oh, yeah, that happens all the time. It is a total nightmare.
It really is. So welcome to the reality of modern data protection. And we have a question for you right up front. Where is your sensitive business data right now?
And if you can't answer that clearly, you actually have a massive data protection problem.
You really do. So welcome to the deep dive. Today, we are looking at something that affects literally every single business out there.
Yeah, and we are talking directly to you, whether you're a business owner, an IT director, or just, the person trying to figure out how to govern this crazy expanding digital footprint.
Right. We have a great stack of source material today. We're pulling apart the core principles behind the CIS Critical Control 3. That is the data protection control.
And we're pairing that with some highly practical security roadmaps, mostly designed to bring order to the chaos for small to mid-sized businesses.
Exactly. Because the mission for this deep dive is to translate this really dense cybersecurity framework into just a plain English business risk conversation.
Yeah, we're skipping the heavy technical jargon today.
Right. No reading off lists of compliance numbers. We want to focus on the reality of how businesses actually handle their information. So, okay, let's unpack this. When a small business hears data protection, what do they usually think it means?
Well, most people immediately picture the mechanisms of locking something away, right? Like encryption and locked servers.
Oh, totally. Big firewalls and locked vaults.
Exactly. But the truth from these frameworks is fundamentally simpler and honestly much more dangerous to ignore. The core reality is this: you cannot protect data you have not identified.
Wow, you cannot protect data you have not identified. I mean,
Yeah.
that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, because before we can even talk about locking the doors, we have to shatter the illusion that corporate data is neatly sitting in one centralized room.
Right, that old perimeter model where everything lived on one humming server in a closet, that is completely dead.
Oh, it hasn't just moved to the cloud. It has entirely vanished.
Yeah, the reality of modern storage is basically organized chaos. I mean, let's look at where data actually lives today.
It is everywhere.
It really is. You have sanctioned stuff, sure. Microsoft 365, Google Workspace, Dropbox.
Right, the approved apps.
But then you have local laptops, employee mobile phones, accounting and payroll software, your CRM systems.
And their portals are a huge one, too.
Oh, absolutely. And let's not forget USB drives, backups, and, the absolute worst offender.
Let me guess. Email attachments.
Yes. A decade's worth of spreadsheets loaded with customer data just floating around in email.
Yeah, and what's critical to understand here is the attacker's playbook. Once an adversary gets in, they don't just sit there.
Right. They start looking around immediately.
Exactly. Their very first automated task is lateral movement. They run scripts to scrape the environment for regular expressions. Things that look like social security numbers or credit cards.
So if a business isn't actively monitoring data outflows, they might not even realize sensitive stuff is leaving.
Exactly. They won't even see it happening.
It's like trying to secure a house where you've accidentally left copies of your passport on the porch, in the mailbox, and at the neighbor's house.
That is exactly what it's like.
Which brings up a question, though. Are employees creating these shadow copies of data in unapproved apps on purpose? Like maliciously?
Oh, almost never. It's usually just a byproduct of modern work. If the VPN is slow over the weekend, they just email the client list to their Gmail to get the job done.
Just path of least resistance stuff.
Exactly. It's just friction. And attackers are entirely counting on that chaos. Your data is spread across far more places than your IT team realizes.
Okay, so data is everywhere, which means we have to admit we can't protect all of it equally, right?
You really can't. If you try to treat a company picnic flyer like your payroll records, it's a recipe for disaster.
Right, so we need to define data sensitivity. The sources break this down into some really practical levels.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward once you look at it.
Yeah, so first you have low sensitivity. That's your public website content, marketing flyers, that kind of thing.
Stuff you literally want people to see.
Exactly. Then you have internal data, like procedures or internal schedules. Not public, but not super dangerous if it gets out.
Right.
Then we get to confidential. This is your contracts, pricing, vendor agreements, customer lists.
Which is where things start getting risky.
Very risky. And finally, sensitive data. So security numbers, financial records, medical info, employee files, the really radioactive stuff.
Exactly. And this is where the concept of a data inventory and classification scheme comes in. This is Safeguards 3.2 and 3.7.
Oh, okay. How does that work in practice?
Well, the why is simple. To derive sensitivity levels, an enterprise has to, catalog the overall criticality of its data.
Right, because if everything is top secret, the truly sensitive stuff doesn't get the focused protection it actually deserves.
Precisely. You spread your resources way too thin.
So here's where it gets really interesting. If a business has never formally categorized their data, what is the simplest, non-intimidating way for them to start?
Because doing it file by file is a total nightmare.
Oh, total nightmare. A massive paperwork exercise.
Yeah, so you don't do that. You approach it from the top down. You start with the systems, not the individual files. Identify your most important operational hubs.
So for like a manufacturing company, that's their ERP system or HR platform.
Exactly. Figure out where those specific items live first. By classifying the environment, you inherently classify the data within it. You start with the crown jewels.
That makes so much sense. But, knowing what data is highly valuable leads to a stark realization.
Oh, I know where you're going with this. The hoarding problem.
Yes. Why are businesses holding on to highly valuable, sensitive stuff from 10 years ago that they don't even use anymore?
It is such a common flaw in small businesses. Storage is cheap, so they just keep it.
It really is. They keep old customer files, old employee records, old tax documents forever simply because nobody ever created a retention rule.
Right. And the crucial point from the sources is that old data can still create new risk.
So it's actively hurting them to keep it.
Exactly. If you no longer need the data, keeping it forever only increases the blast radius of a potential breach. Ransomware gangs don't care if a credit card is from 10 years ago.
Wow, okay. That is a major aha moment for me. Data protection isn't just about locking things up. It's also about throwing things away.
Yeah, secure disposal. It's Safeguard 3.5 in the framework. You do not have to protect data forever if you no longer need to keep it.
So what does that actually look like?
It's very practical. Retiring old laptops properly, actually wiping drives before you dispose of them.
So no more just tossing computers in a supply closet.
Please don't do that. It also means cleaning up old shared folders and removing old cloud backups according to a documented policy.
Okay, let me push back a little here. Are you saying that by doing absolutely nothing with an old hard drive sitting in a closet, a business is actively increasing their cyber liability?
Yes, absolutely. Because inaction is still a choice. That drive is a vulnerability just waiting to be exploited. Secure destruction limits the surface area you have to defend.
Okay, that is terrifying. So we've identified the data, classified it, and thrown out the old legacy junk.
Right, we've cleaned house.
Yeah. Now we have to look at the sensitive data we actually kept. Who is looking at it, and how is it locked up?
The access question, this is huge.
It really is. I mean, who can actually access your sensitive data? Current employees, obviously.
Yeah.
But what about former employees?
Oh, lingering access for former employees is a massive blind spot.
Right, or vendors, contractors, and public cloud sharing links. You have to run real-world checks.
Absolutely. Are former employees actually stripped of their access in every single app? Are you reviewing permissions regularly?
And vendors, are they using individual accounts, or are they all just sharing one generic password?
Sharing passwords is historically one of the most exploited pathways. And are employees generating public cloud links for sensitive spreadsheets?
Which naturally brings up the technology everyone assumes fixes this: encryption.
Ah, yes. Encryption is a baseline requirement, but we have to clarify its limits.
Right, because you have BitLocker for Windows laptops, FileVault for Macs, TLS for data in transit.
Right, and it protects data if a laptop gets stolen out of a car or while data is traveling across the internet.
But there's a big caveat there, isn't there?
There is. Encryption helps, but it absolutely does not replace knowing where your data is, who can access it, and how long it should be kept.
Because if someone gets an employee's password, the system just decrypts the data for them anyway, right?
Exactly. The operating system thinks they are an authorized user, so encryption is just a heavy vault door. But if you have terrible identity management, the bad guy just walks in with a stolen key.
Wow. So sensitive data should really only be available to people who truly need it. That's access control lists, Safeguard 3.3.
Yep. You have to restrict who has the key.
Okay, so identifying, classifying, disposing, encrypting. That sounds like an Everest-level undertaking for a small business.
It can definitely feel overwhelming.
Yeah, how do they actually do this without just getting totally paralyzed?
Well, first, you have to ditch the jargon. We shouldn't walk into a small business and say, let's review CIS Control 3, Safeguard 3.8.
Right, their eyes would just glaze over.
Exactly. Instead, you ask plain English questions. Do you know where your data is? Are old employees removed? Are your backups working?
Keep it simple.
Mm-hmm.
And the framework actually supports that, right? Implementation Group 1.
Yeah, IG1. CIS has 3 levels, but small businesses should start with IG1, which is just basic cyber hygiene.
You don't build a Fortune 500 security program on day one.
Exactly. You just ensure the absolute basics are in place first.
And that is exactly how the CyberOps Source Assessment helps. They turn this whole complex framework into a practical roadmap.
Yeah, they sell clarity rather than just selling, complicated cybersecurity.
Right. Their motto is secure today, resilient tomorrow. So let's break down their practical 30, 60, 90-day roadmap.
Sure. So the first 30 days is entirely about visibility.
Turning the lights on.
Exactly. You identify your devices, your software, and your sensitive data. You review user accounts and MFA, and you confirm your backups actually exist.
Because you can't fix what you can't see.
Right. Most businesses find a massive difference between what they think they have and what actually exists. Then, days 31 through 60 shift to protection.
Closing the open doors.
Yep. You fix those access issues, you revoke access for former employees, encrypt the devices, and secure the email environment.
Okay, so we mapped it, we locked it down. What about days 61 through 90?
That final phase is resilience. This is where you test your backups to make sure you can actually recover data.
Because ransomware specifically targets backup architectures now.
Oh, heavily. You also create basic incident response plans, and you prepare for cyber insurance requirements.
Which is huge, because insurance companies want actual proof that you're doing this stuff now.
Absolutely. Checking a box isn't enough anymore. If you claim you have strict controls but actually have shared vendor passwords, your claim can be denied.
So let's synthesize this for you, the listener. We've covered a lot today. Why should you actually go back to your desk and care about all this?
Because doing this actively reduces your risk surface before an adversary ever touches your network.
Exactly. It prepares you for those cyber insurance renewals, it improves trust with your customers, and honestly, it stops you from wasting money on random security tools you don't even need.
Yeah, you stop trying to put deadbolts on doors that don't lead anywhere.
I love that analogy. It replaces anxiety with confidence. So our final recap, the core theme of this entire deep dive. You cannot protect data you have not identified.
Start by knowing what you have, then protect what matters most.
Beautifully said. Do you have a final provocative thought to leave everyone with?
I do. If a hacker were to quietly gain access to your business environment this afternoon, ask yourself, would they currently have a better, more accurate inventory of where your sensitive data lives than you do?
Oof, that is a chilling thought. Because if they know your network better than you do, it's only a matter of time.
It really is.
Well, thank you all for joining us on this deep dive. Now, get out there and go track down your data.